Today's chapter talks about organizational structure. All organizations wrestle with structural design and reorganization. Deployment of organizational resources to achieve strategic goals. What is the division of labor? What are the lines of authority? And how are things coordinated? Organization is important because it should follow the strategy of the company. So, organizing the vertical structure. Organizational structure defines formal tasks, reporting relationships, and effective coordination. So as you can see from this chart, you have the structure, formal relationships, and authority. So organizations are structured usually around work specialization, degree to which organizational tasks are subdivided into individual jobs. This is usually referred to as division of labor. So no one is going to make today a complete bicycle. Somebody will build the frame, somebody will build the wheels, somebody will make the chain. So people become specialized in doing that one task, and they do it well. And so it can be done faster. Initially, this happened with the assembly line for cars that was designed by Ford. The idea is that the sum of the individual talents is greater than the individual talents themselves. Chain of command, unbroken line of authority that links all individuals in the organization and particularly specifies who they report to. The chain of command gives authority to certain positions. So thanks to Mr. Weber, who invented the concept of bureaucracy, authority is vested in organizational positions, not people. So if Vice President George dies tomorrow, there can be a new Vice President, Bill, who will have his authority. So the authority is not vested in the person, but in the position. Traditionally, authority flows down the vertical hierarchy, and for an organization to be successful, the authority has to be accepted by the subordinates. Authority, responsibility, delegation. Responsibility, duty to perform the task. Accountability, mechanisms through which authority and responsibility are aligned. Delegation is the process managers use to transfer authority and responsibility down the chain. Okay. So the ability to delegate is also an extremely important talent that you need to cultivate and to learn how to do. You must delegate authority when you delegate responsibility. Right? So the person must have enough authority to fulfill the responsibility that you delegate. Line and staff. Line departments perform primary business tasks, such as sales and production. Staff departments support line departments, marketing, labor relations, research, accounting, human resources. All right. So these are staff to those primary line operations. Line authority means people in management positions have formal authority to direct and control immediate subordinates. Staff authority is narrower and includes the right to advise, recommend, counsel in the staff specialist area of expertise. All right? So the general is in the line authority, the sergeant is in the staff authority. Span of management. This is traditionally referred to as span of control. how many employees can one person successfully manage? And it really depends upon the nature of the organization, the product, or the service. Because when you have larger spans of control, you have less supervision. To have that, you have to have stable work, subordinates perform similar work, one location, highly trained, rules, procedures. So in a tall structure, you have more levels and narrower span. In a flat structure, you have a wide span and fewer levels. The advantage to fewer levels is that the communication and interaction is better. Okay? So many companies will reorganize either to increase the span of management or to decrease the span of management. Old tall structure and new flat structure. New flat structure is more preferred because this way changes in the technology, the interest of your customers is better known by the president. In the tall structure, he has to wait to hear from the people who are his line officers. And often each of them only gets a bit and piece of the information. There's always been a lot of controversy and debate about whether or not organizations should be centralized or decentralized. Centralized decision authority is located near the top. Decentralized is pushed downward to all levels. So, what are some of the factors? Change in uncertainty, usually associated with decentralization. Strategic fit. When there's a crisis, everybody wants to have central control. Okay. New York City Transit Authority for years had a central inventory system where everybody had to go to one building to get supplies. This took up a lot of time, was complicated. They decentralized, putting inventory stations all over the city, and made things work much more efficiently. So there's a lot of different ways to design organizations. Basic vertical designs, more structural designs according to product rather than to overall operations. Matrix designs, where you function on the different facets of the company. More modern team-based designs, where teams may be in charge of an entire product, from design to marketing to manufacturing. And a virtual network, where you could actually not be in the same place, you could be in different places around the world. So, departmentalization. Basis for grouping positions into departments, because you basically want to put people together based on their skills, expertise, work activities, such as a human resource department or a marketing department. You expect those people in those areas to have particular skills and to be able to perform certain operations. So you can also do this in terms of a divisional approach, grouping based on organizational output, product, program, business. For example, Owens Corning has a divisional approach where products such as fiberglass are separated from other products within the company. And each division is responsible for producing that product. And then sometimes you have geographic or customer-based divisions. You service the people on the East Coast, I service the people on the West Coast. You service our major customers, I service the smaller customers. So functional structures really divide up into what are the actual functions within the organization. Division can be according to products, right? Organizational-based global structures could be divided geographically. When my cousin was the head of Owens Corning's division in Korea, South Korea. So basically he was in charge of the whole company's operations within that country. So the matrix approach combines functional and divisional approaches. The team approach is much more widespread now, allows managers to delegate authority, is more flexible and responsive. It's sort of the hot structure right now, is to work in teams. Dual authority structure, in the matrix organization, where you can actually have two bosses. Same thing in a global organization. Virtual network means the firm subcontracts most of its major functions to separate companies. Different networks in different places. So there are advantages and disadvantages to these different structures. Companies sometimes need more flexibility than vertical structures can offer. If you have a fast-shifting environment, break down barriers, need integration coordination. Traditionally, the companies had an engineering department that would develop something, throw it over the wall to the manufacturing department, who would try and produce it, then throw it over the wall to the marketing department, who would then try to sell it, and throw it over the wall to the financial people to figure out how much they had to charge. Well, now, horizontally, a lot of those walls don't exist anymore. That the groups work on products from the very start. So manufacturing can tell engineering, no, we can't make that. Marketing can say, no, it looks like a good idea, but we can't sell it. And finance can say, yeah, it's a good idea, but it costs too much. All right, so there's much more integration now to try and produce good products. A lot of evolution of organizational structures, particularly with new startups, trying a lot of different things. Re-engineering, radical redesign of business process to achieve dramatic improvements in cost, quality, service, and speed. So a lot of times when organizations are in trouble or they're losing their competitive edge, they try to re-engineer the organization and their products. So task forces are important now. Temporary team to solve a short-term problem. Cross-functional teams uses that horizontal coordination I was just talking about, where the different major departments talk to each other. And of course, the big new role is project manager, person responsible for coordinating activities of several departments for the completion of a specific project. So this person actually gets authority over several different departments to make sure that a project works. The project managers get paid very well. So it may be someday a career that you might want to think about. Okay, so the project manager will cut across the various different organizational departments, making sure that the particular project, such as designing a new iPhone, gets done on time. Relational coordination. Interesting. So structure should follow strategy. The performance of an organization is influenced by its structure. Strategic goals should drive the structure. The structure should facilitate the reaching of those goals. So these are different factors that tend to influence the structure. All right. Also has to fit in with its environment. And technical complexity of each firm often dictates the structure, because the structure of the organization must fit the technology. All right. relation